Hi, I hope you guys had a wonderful Wednesday. You know, a lot of times I come on these videos and I kind of beforehand try to do some prep, write out some bullet points, really try to organize my thoughts, which, any person really should do. Um, Tonight's a little bit different. I just really wanted to speak from my heart and just really spent some time in prayer about how I should say this. Because of course you want to be very tactful. You want to really approach this very in a way that's very thoughtful. And so I was talking to someone that I respect and admire so much, and we were just really talking about the challenges that we have. Hey, Latanya, it's good to see you. I'm on a little bit later because I'm hoping that the kiddos are going to be in bed. Probably a lot of what I'm going to say really is for adult ears. So if you have little ones that may be around, you may want to engage them in an activity and have them not be within earshot of a lot of things that I might talk about. And I don't plan on being on that long, but you probably want the little ones not to be able to have the ability to hear. This is for the adult ladies only. So I was talking to my friend who I just admire and really just love her so much. And we were talking about, hey, Sharice, it's good to see you too. Thank you for watching. And so we were talking about the challenges that women have over 35, Christian women have over 35. And, one of the main things that she was really upset about, and I have to say that I really find it to be true also, is that, it's hard to stay optimistic. You may go to a singles event and, sometimes you start to see the same faces over and over again. That's fine. And it may just be that, that it's a, great group of folks, just that you haven't found someone that you really clicked with, and that's fine. But for a lot of women, it's either, they run into prospects. Let's just say guys who are prospects, and they run into them and they say, you know what? A lot of these guys are not looking for love. They're looking for help, whether they be, they're struggling financially. It may be that, thank you for the hearts. It may be that, they are under a lot of pressure for, a lot of the stuff that happened in their last marriage, relationship, or whatever, and they have a lot of debt from that. Or maybe, they've suffered a job loss and, they can barely, feed themselves, let alone take you out on a date. You're like, okay, I'm not, knocking anybody down, if they're struggling right now, that's fine. But now is not the time you should be pursuing women, okay? Don't do it. And so, you get frustrated when you run into that, more than once, more than twice, more than 10 times. You get frustrated, and I'm kind of, making light of it a little bit, but it is really something that a lot of women are really knocking their head up against the wall about, saying, you got other priorities right now. If you can't, if you having trouble putting gas in the car, you probably don't want to, you probably don't want to pursue a relationship right now. You've got other pressing things you need to take care of, like getting back on your feet. And sometimes some people, yes, that's right. Yes, Sharice, absolutely. And sometimes, you'll find guys, not all of them, I'm not saying that, but you'll find a percentage of guys who will go into specifically look for women who are in the church because they think that they can take advantage of them easier. They think they're more gullible. They think that they can pull a fast one over them because they're going to be more trusting than somebody that they may meet at a, bar or whatever, or a club. They figure they're not going to be as streetwise, and they can really pull a fast one. And, there've been a lot of women also who, hey, Laura, it's good to see you. There's been a lot of women who have, really felt the sting of that, the guy who has a hard luck story. I just wish that somebody, my last wife and my girlfriend, my last girlfriend and my wife, my ex-wife, she didn't believe in me, and I just need somebody to believe in me and co-sign on this loan I just need somebody to believe in me, and I just need a loan. So why don't you borrow against your 401k? I just need somebody who believes in me. They try to run a hustle. And they figure women who are in the church are going to be more gullible, because they're like, oh, I met this guy in church. He's more trustworthy. And I know, there's been quite a few women who've been burned behind that. And, it's hard to stay in hope. It's hard to be, in a place where you're like, you're holding up, the garlic and the silver bullets, because you think, where's the werewolf who's coming, it gets to be that you feel like the place where you feel like you really should, have more trust, which is people who you think share the same values and beliefs that you do. You give them just a little more, of an edge over someone you just meet anywhere, outside the church. You just figure you give them that little more of that confidence. And, it's gotten to be where some women have, they just feel like they have to put up such a wall, and they get frustrated, and they really feel like their prospects are, where are all the decent guys at? Where? And so, they were just really sharing the frustration. It seems like sometimes our sisters who are in the church, who are either married, they've been married for a while and haven't been on the dating scene for quite a while, really don't understand what we're going through, and really, sometimes can be somewhat judgmental, can be, kind of callous, and just really aren't a source that we can go to. So, it feels like a double slap. You get slapped in the face the first hand, and they come back with the backhand. And it's hard to really feel like that God really is preparing someone for you, and He's out there. And you just need to, should I bother just to keep praying? Does He really exist? And the older that I get, the more that I really realize that, your words are powerful, and your words have power. And so the more that I continue to speak things out in faith, the more I see it manifest here on the earth. And I'm not saying that I have a 100% scorecard, because there's still a lot of things that I'm contending for, that I've been contending for on my knees. But, that haven't come to pass, as far as, business and finances and things like that. Things I've been contending for other family members, for them to, get real freedom from some of the things that they've really been struggling with for a long time. Some of those things really haven't come to pass yet. But that doesn't mean that it won't come to pass. And it doesn't mean that you have to go and wait years and years and years and years and years. I've seen the suddenly of God work so much this year. And it's like, wow, it's like, where did that come from? Didn't see that coming down the road. So, God can do anything in an instant. And, sometimes too, when you sit back, this is the time of year when you kind of push back and reflect, over the past 12 months, and say, wow, January of this year, I would never see myself as this, that, and the other thing. But, God did it, and wow, what a difference a year makes. Sometimes what a difference a month makes. Now, to be honest, let me just rip a page from my own life, as I usually do, because I like to use myself as an example, and not pick on anybody else. Not pick on, but you know what I mean. I'll be the first one to get in line and use myself as an example. Back in January of this year, I'm just real focused. I said, I'm just going to have this, tunnel vision. I'm going to be real focused on my business, and, really just put that 100%. I'm going to, I'm not going to date. I'm not going to, I'm just put all my spare money into investing in my business, learning what I need to learn. I went to Spokane, Washington back in May to take a course, a seminar that I needed, that I felt like I needed, that was going to really help my business, and it did in many ways. I learned a whole lot. It was worth the trip, but that was a sacrifice. That was a huge sacrifice, financial sacrifice, to go out, take time off of the full-time job that I had to invest in my business, which I'm kind of doing right now, that I'm building as I'm working full-time, which is another thing. I was like, I don't have time for a relationship. I'm up at night working on my business. At the time, back in the beginning of the year, I was working 10-hour days, 6 days a week. So it was a 60-hour week. I had a long commute. I had a 40-minute commute, and that's if the traffic wasn't too bad. I had a 40-minute commute one way. I'm like, I don't have time for it. I don't have time to have a meaningful relationship. But sure enough, somewhere along the line in April, I opened up to the possibility of getting into a relationship, just exploring and seeing where it would go. With someone that I had known for quite a few months, not quite a year. I guess I knew him the summer before. And so this is April. So yeah, I guess almost a year. But again, I just had that tunnel vision. I was like, I was always giving off these signals, I'm not, look, business, right? That's what's in front of me right now. And, now I'm in a very loving relationship. Who knew? Who knew? With, someone who doesn't look like me. Ladies, doesn't look like me. But, treats me like a queen. Someone who some people might say is a little bit older, doesn't look like me. If you would have told me last year, you're going to date someone who doesn't look like you, who's a little bit older, you're like, no, I'm just going to be working on my business, it's all about the, how's the song goes, all about the Benjamins. But, sometimes it may be that you expand your pool of eligible men. And I don't mean to compromise your principles or compromise your values. I'm not saying that, because actually, my boyfriend and I have, similar values. We go to the same church, it's where we met. But, we were traveling in different circles, not different circles, but it came to be that we had a mutual friend, and the mutual friend asked us to help in their ministry. And so we started serving together, and that's how we got to know each other a little bit better. But, it's it's just suddenly a God. I didn't see that coming down the road. Wouldn't have suspected it. Just didn't see it. And so, but all along the way, as I was praying for my business, at the beginning of the year, or even years past, as I was praying for my business, I was praying for my husband, even though at the time I had no idea who that may be. And so, stay in faith. Keep your words in agreement with heaven. Some people believe that the name of God has an H in it because it is the breath, is the life. God breathed life into us, and that there's an H in Jehovah, because we have to breathe out that life. And when we speak things out loud, we are giving it life. We're giving it breath. And we're following the example of God did as he spoke things into existence at the beginning of the world. And so stay in faith. You don't have to say it loud. You don't have to scream it, at the top of the mountain. You can just say it, very softly, if that's what you want to do. But keep saying it out loud. Faith comes by hearing, and sometimes it comes by hearing your own voice. Say it. And so, I know that it's tough out here. I've come into contact with people, in my own dating life, even before I was so focused in a tunnel vision on my business. I was so focused. I met guys, when I was open to dating before. Some were nice, some not so nice. And some recognizing that some people who think that they're ready to date and think that they're in a place that they should be dating really aren't. You know, I've talked about this before, but it's been a while. A couple of years ago, you know, came across a guy, actually got introduced through a church I was going through at the time. Got introduced to a tall, dark, handsome. This guy was 6'7", you know, handsome, my age. I got so excited. He asked me out, went out, and eating, things going well. This is like 2 hours into it. Things are going well, and he looks at me, he goes, and this guy's nice, beautiful chocolate man, gorgeous, gorgeous man, looks at me and says, I don't normally date sisters. And I'm like, okay, well, thinking to myself, okay, what am I doing sitting across the table from you if you don't normally, what makes you think that I'm this, you know, super duper special exception that you decide to ask me out if you don't normally date women who look like me? And, you know, it just came to turn out, you know, I should have asked him before the date. I should have asked him, you know, how long had you been divorced? You know, that would have given me a good indication that he probably wasn't ready to date. But anyway, needless to say, that went south real quick. I mean, that just cratered into the ground. It was horrible after that. But, you know, he just wasn't in a place emotionally. You know, he was looking for, you know, a way to kind of patch his heart and, you know, hurt people, end up hurting people. And so that's kind of the place that he was. I don't think that he's, you know, inherently evil, even though I think that some people who out here dating and trying to run a hustle are, you know, they do have, you know, that spirit that's ruling and reigning in their lives that they're listening to, which is not the kingdom of God. It's that other kingdom. You know, so there are those people out there who are really actively looking to hurt you and intend to do so right at the very beginning. And so, you know, you just, you know, ask God for wisdom and discernment to weed those people out and quickly. You know, I know of some beautiful young ladies who have a prayer that they pray just about every day. They say, God, you know, keep people who don't have my best interests at heart far, far away from me. And they've known of, you know, a couple of instances where, you know, they really dodged a bullet. They found out later on, you know, they said that prayer, and there's a person who was trying to get next to them, was trying to get in their sphere of influence. And they said, oh my goodness, I see that was the hand of God that protected me in that situation. And so, you know, pray for prayers of protection, pray for your husband, even though you may have no idea, no prospects who that may be. Stay in hope. Stay in hope. Because the alternative is not a place where you want to be. Yes, it's, you know, it's okay to be sad for, you know, for a minute, you know, to vent your frustrations. Yes, but you don't want to stay there. You don't want to stay there. So there's going to be more videos like this, really just real conversations, you know, keeping it real talk about just our walk and our frustrations. I have another aspect of this that I'm going to talk about tomorrow, and that's about, you know, the big question about, you know, sex. You know, what is that, you know, how do we navigate that in dating as Christian women? The spectrum of beliefs on that, and sometimes the judgment, and the snickering and the, you know, downright nastiness that sometimes we you know, gets thrown on us. Yeah, you know, that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So that's the another side of it. So I'll see you ladies tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Again, this is, you know, a lot of the things that I help my clients walk through. We're going to be having our group that's going to be launching in January. So stay tuned for that. You can get on our VIP email list. I'll put that link at the top of this video. And so have a wonderful evening. Laura, thank you so much for watching. Cherise, thank you. Latanya, you ladies are awesome. I'll see you tomorrow.